What's going on YouTube? Claic Yuzolt here for another video, and today the day is finally here. We get last Cloudia's launch happening in 24 hours. It happens tomorrow, so I want to make sure I give you guys all the beginner tips, understanding the game, and rerolling guide that I can before the game officially launches in English tomorrow. So let's get into it.
The latest title presented by Eidos, a spectacular smartphone RPG finally arrived. Push the pixel art graphics to the limit with high-speed 3D battles. Get your adrenaline pumping with an exhilarating real-time battle system.
And that is just a little taste of Last Cloudia, showing you guys how it looks through the official global release trailer. You guys can catch that. I'll have the link in the description below if you want to see more. But Last Cloudia is a beautiful 2D art style, pushing the boundaries of that type of mobile game. You can see it looks very advanced. Beautiful button masher mixed with RPG elements. I loved it when I tried it out in JP, and I cannot wait for it to come to global today. I will be talking about what you guys really need to know about the game when you get started, re-rolling, what you should be looking for, how to get started, and what you should focus on. And we're going to be referencing a Last Cloudia beginner's guide by the Reddit moderator Greensburg, and he has helped me so much through my Japanese playtime, helped me learn the game, and then also is now helping me with global and gave me permission to use this amazing guide that he made, and I will link it in the description below so you can reference it on your own time. Thank you again to Greensburg. So before we get into re-rolling, I know it's the first thing people want to talk about. We need to talk about what arcs are, because they are the main thing in the game that I think makes this game unique and are very, very important, okay? In the gacha in this game, you depending on how they make it for global, now I'm going off what JP had, it is 8% to get an SSR, which is the highest tier thing you can get in the game. 5% of that is going to be an arc, and 3% of that is going to be a character. Now, before you start freaking out, because I know you've played other games where, you know, you don't like that split up there, arcs are equipment, but arcs are the most important thing in the game, so let me explain. The arc skill system, arcs are a type of equipment you can put on each character. Once put on that character, it gives the character stats, the arcs can be leveled up, and they have a specific special passive they give the character when equipped. On top of that, each arc has 4 different abilities, up to 4 I do believe, where they can teach that ability to a unit. And that is what makes Last Cloudia so special, because, you know, they can have different abilities, varying from healing, maybe a lightning damage spell, passives that maybe give you HP 20%, things like that, and each individual unit in the game can learn that. So if you want to take your healer, and you want your healer to do massive damage, teach her a bunch of magic. Now, she's not going to do as much magic damage as other units, because there's skill trees, obviously passives they learn on their own, but it is an option on here if maybe you don't want to take a healer. You can have your other unit learn things from these different arcs, and each arc again has different abilities that they can teach each of your people. Now, how do you learn these abilities from the arcs? The arcs, you learn them passively. Every time you complete a battle, you will be given a certain points in your arc mastery, so it's like a bar you have to fill up, kind of like experience, and as you can see here, it shows you, you know, it gives you like the experience amount you're going to get on each one, and it's a little bit hard to look in it here because we do really need to see it in global, but it's like a little bar. At the end of each battle, you get a certain set of experience. It doesn't matter what you fight, this is the amount you're going to be getting towards your mastery and the arc ability that you're going to learn, and once you learn that ability, that character learns that ability forever. So we're just going to call it heal 2. I don't know what's going to be in the game, but maybe a heal spell type 2. Once you put that arc on someone, you battle enough with them, you grind enough with them through enough battles, and they learn that ability, it's there forever. Another cool thing about the arc system is you only need one of each arc, because you can literally take it off and have everybody learn it as long as you grind enough. I want to say another thing about the arc system is, let's say you have this, you know, trying to learn, I'm going to keep going back to the healing spell. You're trying to learn this healing spell maybe on your physical damage healer, just in case you need to heal with them, and you get halfway through and then you pull this amazing other unit, you're like, that unit would be much better to have that healing, right? So you take the arc off and you learn it on the other unit, but then you're like, I really wanted to learn it on my physical now, a main man, my physical damage dealer. Let me go ahead and put that back on him. You do not lose progress through that mastery. So that's why I love this arc system. There are a ton of arcs to select, and why I wanted to explain that before we got into the re-rolling is because I believe, and it is believed in the community that played JP, that arcs are actually more important to get in the beginning of the game than it is to get a character or a unit, because the arcs are really what bring the power, the passives. And so just to talk on that, characters do have a limit to how many passives or abilities they can equip through an SP point system. So let's say 20 out of 20 is the maximum. You can raise that through ways of character progression. But say like a passive costs 2, 1, 5, an ability costs 6, and you have to really select your loadout and how you want to play that character, but the customization is kind of endless. You can kind of do whatever you want to do. So going to rerolling, how do you reroll in this game? Well, it's one of the fastest, as long as they keep it the way JP did, it was one of the fastest rerolling I've ever seen in a mobile game, and it's what's going to have me actually be drawn to rerolling because it's not a tedious thing. However, without us knowing how global is going to be, I'm going to reference my JP rerolling guide. It should be exactly the same, and if it's not, I will put out another video. I'm going to link that video in the description below. It'll give you guys step by step. It'll only just be in Japanese. Everything else should be the same, and if it's not, again, I'll fix that. Let's talk about the actual units. So we want to know what units we're rolling for. In my opinion, when you're re-rolling, I'd be going for 2 SSR arcs, and then I'd be trying to get an SSR unit. I would do that, and I'll show you which ones I'd pick, but the different kind of classes they have in the game are physical DPS, magic DPS, healing support, and then tank. And in the beginning of the game, at least when I played it, insta-cast mages, you can essentially get passives, because normally a mage, when they, or any unit goes to cast a magic spell, they take a minute and they can get knocked out of it, etc. So it kind of is a little bit rough, but you can get insta-cast. So you just literally cast the magic spell, cast the magic spell, cast the magic spell, and you win. You clear waves extremely fast. But I've heard throughout the time the game has been out that physical damage in fighting bigger bosses, that doesn't really work, so they're very important too. Talking about healing, again, healing is awesome, but a lot of the times if you get these arcs, you can make somebody else kind of pick up that healing, and tanking is somewhat important, but if as long as you're juggling, you have that healer there. The healing and support and tank, they are important, but you can kind of get through what you need to until you get to the higher end bosses, the farming and things like that through your magic or physical damage dealing. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, not all these characters you see here are released. You can see that Randy is here and some of the Secret of Mana units are here. That's because they're having a collab there. They're showing some of the units from the JP game as well in Greensburg's guide, but they're probably not going to be available on global launch. So let me tell you what I'm going to be going for. So again, each character has a couple of passives put on them, and I'm going to be going for 2 arcs, and I'll talk about the arcs in a minute, and I'm going to be going for 1 SSR unit. So what are the 2 SSR units I'm considering? I'm only considering 2 that I would really like to stick with. The first one's going to be this guy right here. He's a little thief. This thief guy, he's pretty good physical damage. He's really good at juggling, but the great thing about him is that he helps with grinding in this game. This game is very grindy. I just want you guys to know that. You're going to be grinding for materials. You're going to be grinding for levels, but I love it, and he helps with that. He has a passive where it's kind of like steel, because he is a thief. When he hits an enemy, it has a chance to drop an item, and these items, these awakening materials to go through your skill tree and awaken your units and things like that are going to be very important. So I'm going to be going for him, and the other one I'm considering going for is probably the healer here. She should be on release as well. She's an extremely strong healer. As you can see, even on the JP, she's still top tier healing support, so I would like to go for her as well. But you guys can go in here, look over these units, see which ones you like when they come out on release, and pick them. King Grom, or Prince Grom, or whatever over here, he's another one of my favorite. He's a tank. He provokes, he heals, he has a passes where he'll come back after battle. Another unit I want to point out here is this guy right here. He has the silver hair. He's a frost mage. You get him through the story, and he is extremely powerful in the beginning of the game, going into the late game, as you can see. So you don't really need to be looking for that DPS. It's going to be doing a lot of damage because the game provides it. And this guy right here literally carried me through JP. He is extremely powerful. So again, it's up to you what you want to be pulling for. A lot of these characters are on release. You're going to be able to pick what you want, but the 2 I'm going to be going for is somebody who can help me with my farming grind and then also help me with healing. So that's what I'm going to be going for myself, because I'm going to be using this mage here. Moving on down, we're going to talk about the arcs. Now again, the arcs are extremely important as well. They give you guys passives on each of your units. They give you guys different abilities you can learn. So looking over these arcs here, you can see there's some for physical, some for magic, and then some for defense and support. The 2 that I'm going to be going for myself are this airship is this airship right here, which allows it's got an insane passive that gives, I do believe it gives a barrier at the beginning of each battle to your unit. That's the passive on it. So it lets you stay alive a little bit longer. It helps your healer not to take too much of their MP away, because MP is very costly in this game. You'll learn that it's not as easy just to be spamming abilities. A lot of people are describing this combat system as Star Ocean 2-esque. And then the other one is going to be the pirate ship over here. Those are the 2 I'm going to be going for. And that's what I'm going to be aiming for with the 5%, as you can see here, arcs are 5%, and then the characters are 3%. Specifically because I want to learn. There are a lot of good passives on these two arcs as well, and I really want to be going for them when it comes time for the game. So my goal, pirate ship, airship, some people call it spaceship, I'm not sure on the name, and then either the thief or the healer here, that would be my perfect reroll. Now, if I end up getting if I get both of these SSR arcs and I don't get a unit, I'm good, dude. I'm backing up, I'm saving, I'm going to be farming. The main characters can carry you through the game. A lot of the main characters you can see are kind of in B tier. Here are some of the main characters here, but this one is not close to S tier. In between, it's kind of like A+ tier, I guess you could call it here, from Greensburg. An extremely strong unit, AoE, clears waves, very, very good. So that's kind of where I'm going to be at with re-rolling. I want to talk about the resource system, because it isn't a game where you have energy per se. You'll have red orbs and you'll have blue orbs, and the way you determine how you can go into combat over and over again is each of the arcs cost a certain amount of orbs to take in the battle. So maybe the spaceship costs 15 blue orbs to take into battle, and then the pirate ship costs 20 red orbs to take into battle, and it'll subtract that from your orbs that slowly fill up over time through these different shrines where you can click them and extract the orbs. You find them on the map, and then you can level those up. You have to level up those. You have to spend gold to increase your capacity that you can hold with the orbs, and the orbs are also used to level up your arc. So that's how the system works. If you find yourself wanting to grind, you don't really care about learning a different ability, throw in some level 1 arcs that you don't really care about, and that way you can just never run out of energy. You're just constantly grinding, maybe for that item drop you were looking for. It's a very unique system, and I like it a lot. A key thing I want to say here for new players is do not level up your arcs a lot. There are a lot of, so when an arc comes to you, the first ability you're probably going to be able to learn, sometimes you learn the second one, but then the other ones are locked behind arc levels. So like, level 3, level 6, level 9, level 12. It depends on what the arc is, and it costs these orbs to do so. The problem with leveling up these arcs early on is they start costing more and more orbs to use in battle. So you do get the awesome stat increases that you get with leveling up an arc, maybe even learning a new ability or a spell or a passive, but at the cost of maybe not being able to grind as much because you end up running out of the orbs that you need. So orb management is very important, and that is where I would focus all of your gold. You can use gold to, enhance units, to buy equipment in the game from shops. It's going to remind you of the old RPG days, because you go into a shop, that's where you get your equipment that aren't from quests and other achievements. But that's where you need to get that orb management up and going, because that's how you're going to level up your arcs and be able to play the game. It's pretty cool. And avoid the whole trap of leveling up a bunch of your different arcs, because it is going to cost you in the end. As you can see here, do not over level orbs early. Use gold to upgrade blue orbs. Use blue orbs to upgrade red spots. So that's how it works. You have the blue spots. They're pretty much shrines. You'll click on them and they slowly fill up, and that's over time, and that's how they kind of gate you. But it's really hard to get gated up. Showing here, you'll find a total of 5 blue spots and 2 red spots to get your orbs, and use the blue orbs to level up your red orbs. So it's going to be a whole thing of you grinding out and getting that done. Another thing I want to talk about is with the arc system and how the game works. The game is very grindy. You're not going to find yourself taking your unit from level 1 to max level extremely quickly. It takes a while to get those levels. It kind of reminds me of an MMO in that way. It also takes time to learn these arc skills, right? Because you have to keep getting that experience to get those arc masteries. It is a grindy game, but it is a fun game. It's not a game that you would hate to be playing as. You can auto in the game, but you have to wait till you get to a certain shop, and you have to buy an item from the shop with your gold in order to be able to turn auto on. There's also an item there that you can buy that you can move around, like the little joystick in the middle. It's a red button, and you can actually take your character and move them around how you want to, and that comes as you learn the game. It'll show up in a shop. You can look over these different team compositions, early tips that Greensburg has laid out for you in this guide. I don't want this video to go on too long, but the one thing I do want to talk about here at the very end, miscellaneous tips and other things, there's an expedition system. So people are going to wonder what's going on with dupes. For arcs, when you get a dupe, you don't need 2 arcs, right? That 1 arc can go on everybody on your team eventually and let them learn everything. So what happens is when you get a dupe arc, it automatically fills up like this little vial. And if you guys are from FFB, it's similar to a Trust Mastery reward. Once you fill that up, you guys are going to get a nice item, the equipment item, that you can put on somebody, and it automatically feeds that into it. And you get a little bit by chance at the end of each battle with that arc. Now, when it comes to units need dupes to get to maximum power. Now, it's not like the unit is useless without this, but it makes it much, much more powerful. And you need things called like soul shards, is what I do believe they call them in the game. So you get those from dupes, you can buy them in the shop, you can buy them, they can show up randomly in the shop, you can buy them with friend points, but they also have a thing called an expedition system. And this is something I would also be focusing on unlocking ASAP, because you have different slots you can do. You can send units out on expeditions for up to 24 hours, and they'll come back with a certain amount of their character shards. So you do not have to pull dupes. It is just time gated on these expeditions, and slowly but surely your characters will progress, period, making it an extremely free-to-play game. So that's something I would definitely, it says upon completing chapter 3, needs confirmation, so we don't know how it's going to be in that. You can unlock a second column with 5 slots, and you want to be sending your most important units out there. You can still play with your units. You can still go battle with them. They don't go away where you can't use them, but this is how you're going to get those character shards, so it's very important to stay on top of that. Your friend points are going to be extremely useful at the beginning of the game. You guys can do like a roulette where you can get a bunch of the different awakening materials you may need. And guys, that's going to be it for this video. I didn't want it to go on too long, but I think it did. I cannot wait till tomorrow. I am going to be streaming the game as soon as it's launched. Twitch.tv/Claic Yuzolt. So I want you guys to be there. Thank you so much again, Greensburg, for helping me out with this guide and allowing me to reference yours. And I can't wait until tomorrow. I'm so pumped. I've been waiting for like months for this game. Yes. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any more questions. I will try to answer them. But catch me on the stream. That's where you can ask me live, and I can try to relay, and we can work together to figure the game out. And we'll catch you guys in the next video.